Hi everybody, it's Becky with Icing on Top Becky's Cakes, and today I'm going to show you how to make this scrumptious strawberry filling with fresh strawberries. It is so yummy, and I love it in cakes, I love it in cupcakes, and even I'll discuss at the end how to make this in pies. So this is so good, and you get the strawberry flavor, and it's not too sweet and has a little bit of fresh lemon to add that nice tart flavor that balances it so perfectly. I absolutely love this filling recipe, and if you want to check out how to perfectly fill and stack cakes or how to fill cupcakes, all those kind of things are on my channel, so please check those out. But this one's all about how to make this yummy strawberry filling. So we're going to start with about a pound of fresh strawberries, and we wash them and taken the greens off, and then we're just going to cut them into about this size piece, and it's really not specific. Some of them I just chop in half because they're small enough, but we just want to get them down a little smaller so that they're easier to cook down when we cook them down. And here's a little tip about berries. You guys might already know this, but when you get home from the grocery store and you've got all those fresh berries, if they're blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, whatever they are, just go ahead and get a big bowl of water and about 1/4 cup of vinegar and give them a good wash. Let them sit in that vinegar water for, about 5-10 minutes, and then drain them and then put them in your fridge because they will last longer. It kills those mold spores and they will last days longer in your fridge. So that's just a little tip I picked up along the way. It causes your berries to last longer. So let's just finish chopping these up and we will put it in our large saucepan. Ooh, and I promised to give you a little tip about how to use this for pies too, and I'll throw that in right now. If you're making a strawberry pie, why don't you get another pound of fresh strawberries and a baked pie shell already that's already baked, and go ahead and put a bunch of fresh strawberries just like this, but they're fresh, and put them in that baked pie shell. And then when we get this filling done, we're gonna pour that warm filling over the top and put it in the fridge, and voila, strawberry pie. Once it's all completely cooled, you'll have a lovely strawberry pie. But anyway, for just the filling recipe, we put this chopped up strawberries in our saucepan, and then I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, and you can add less if you want it less sweet, but this is a good balance for me. And then I'm going to put in a 1/3 cup of water, and then 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And yes, I like fresh lemons because there is just nothing like that flavor. So we will just give that a little stir, and then we're gonna put this on our stovetop. So we're gonna start cooking it at a high heat. So we're gonna first turn it on to a high heat, and then once our strawberries start to boil, we're gonna turn it down to medium. And once we get it to medium, then we're gonna just let it go for about 15 minutes, but we're gonna, that's approximate. So you're gonna keep checking it and make sure that you stir it every couple minutes in that 15 minutes because you don't want any of this to burn on the bottom. So starting out, it'll look a lot like this, and we'll make sure that we stir it every couple minutes. So really what we're looking at here is that we're really gonna cook down those strawberries so that this turns into a really great filling. I'm just gonna show you what this looks like along the ways. You've got 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, all this. Just let it keep going until it really becomes thick and all the strawberries are really soft. Then you'll know that it's just about time to add our cornstarch. Now, we don't want to just plop our cornstarch right in there. Otherwise, you're going to get all these little lumps and it'll be nasty. So in a separate bowl, we're going to add the cornstarch, okay? So we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and go ahead and put it in this bowl. Now, the key to adding the cornstarch is to make it a nice liquid before we pour it in. So I'm just going to add some cool water. Could be room temperature, but we're just going to pour in a little bit, just enough to make this into a pourable liquid. So I'm just gonna add just a teeny bit. This is not really measured out. I just used my measuring cup to pour it. So don't worry, there's no instructions there, just enough to make this into a liquid that we can pour. Just stir that really good. Make sure it's all incorporated. Scrape the bottom and stuff. We wanna make sure there's not gonna be anything that's gonna cause lumps in our lovely filling. Now we're gonna get our whisk out. After we check that it's ready to add. See how that's pretty thick? Okay, now we can go ahead and pour in our cornstarch mixture, but we're gonna get our whisk out because we're gonna wanna whisk this really fast as soon as you add the cornstarch. So our temperature on our stovetop is still at about medium, so let it stay there while we whisk this up really good. So you're gonna wanna whisk fast to fully incorporate all of the liquid into this cornstarch so that it thickens. And we're just gonna keep whisking for about a minute or two. Once we see this all thicken up really good, then we'll finally be able to take it off. So just keep whisking away. Once it gets to look about like this, it's ready to take off the heat, and we can get a glass bowl ready, and we're gonna go ahead and pour it into a glass bowl or whatever kind of bowl you have on hand, just one that's not gonna melt with this hot filling. And we're gonna let this cool completely, and then we're gonna cover it and put it in the fridge if we're not using it right away, or we'll go ahead and start filling our cakes or cupcakes. But yeah, especially with cakes or cupcakes, if you're gonna be filling it, make sure it's completely room temperature. If it's even warm, it's gonna melt your buttercream, and you don't want that to happen. So you wanna make sure it is completely room temperature before you add it to your cakes. And then you just mix it again right before you put it on your cake or cupcakes, and you see how thick it is now. It's gonna be thick enough that it's not gonna be oozing out the sides, but of course you always create your dam before you, with your buttercream before you add your filling. And I have a whole tutorial on that if you wanna check it out. It's really simple, but yeah, this makes a super yummy filling. It's not too sweet. It's got a little bit of that tartness into it, and you really taste the fruit, brings out that great flavor, and it's just scrumptious. I love this in all kinds of things. And there's also my blueberry filling recipe that you can make other berries with, like blackberries or raspberries. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you can check out that recipe too. But lots of fun to be had here, and lots of yumminess. So thank you so much for joining me today, and please subscribe to my channel.